This is the mic drop with B. Anderson, and this is not quite season 2, but I wanted to do something where we highlight the new releases, and there's a lot of talented authors and musicians and podcasters releasing new content, and I wanted to dedicate my platform to highlighting those individuals. And today we are sitting down with the bougie one herself, Laura Wize.
Hey.
We have her brand new book that was released less than a week ago, Bougie Bitch Poetry, in the house, sitting right here. We have drinks on the table, provided to us by none other than Shady Rose, and tasting pretty good so far. Well, Laura, how are you feeling after releasing your first project? And now, first off, hold on, she's author Laura Wize now.
I am Laura Wize.
She is author Laura Wize now. How do you feel? I mean, because you've done musical projects and things of that sort, but this is your first book. How are you feeling after getting this out here after working for months?
I feel relieved. I feel like, oh, finally, it's out. And, you know, I'm really excited for people to experience it. And I think that it's been a really good ride. You know, I worked really hard on this project as far as the marketing and making sure that there was awareness around the project. So now that it is finally out, it's like, you know, like when you feel like you gotta sneeze and it can't come out, and it finally, it's like, oh, I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved that it is now out there.
What was the inspiration behind Bougie Bitch Poetry?
Honestly, there wasn't like a direct inspiration for Bougie Bitch Poetry, which really, like, Bougie Bitch Poetry is like the short name for the book. It's Bougie Bitch Poetry, Poems for the Misunderstood and Chronically Underestimated Woman. So my publisher, he had just reached out to me, and he was like, you know, it would be a better look if you had a book. And I was like,
hold on, elaborate on that. Elaborate on that. Why did he tell you it would be a better look if you had a book?
Well, you actually took a video at Poetry one night, and I was reading off my phone, and he DM'd me and was like, you know, it would be a better look if you had a book instead of a phone. And I was like, you know, he probably got me with that better look. Once you tell me I can make an improvement and something can look better, the challenge has been accepted.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened. And I just nonchalantly said, sure. Like, okay, sure, I have enough content to put together a book. So it was really kind of like something that just, it worked up to it. Because first there was the work and the content already existed. And then that's when I had to start thinking, like, well, how do I want to present the work?
You know, and that's really interesting because I've seen you do poetry with your phone and with the book, and it definitely is an improvement. I mean, this book, I mean, just
Shade.
No, not at all. I mean, it's with the BBP pink, and, you know, you just having that in your hands, and, you know, and you reading instead of having an Android in your hand. Now that is shade. That's shade. But, you know, just having that is definitely a better look. I mean, because you already, you know, if you've ever been to a poetry event with Laura Wize, she's already coming dressed impeccable anyways, depending on, you know, what the season is. You know, you can see her in boots, you can see her, you know, you're gonna see her in something nice and bougie. And so just having that element to where it's like, man, she's reading out of her own book, you know, it just, I don't know, it just adds to it.
I do like it. It's nice.
So now that, you know, you have this title, Bougie Bitch Poetry, when you're telling people about your book, like when you're giving your elevator pitch, I mean, I remember it was real early in the year, and we were on a Zoom call. And we were all practicing our elevator pitches. Now that you have the fact that you're an author added to it, and you're giving your title, how has the reception been? Like, how have people reacted and responded to it, whether that be good or bad?
Well, I really didn't know how people were reacting. I feel like there's the congratulations phase where everyone's like, congratulations, because, you know, you announce you're doing something and people want to support you. And they're like, congratulations. But I really didn't know how people were really receiving it until the book signing. And we had the Bougie Power panel. And that was the first question that we asked the panelists, like, how did Bougie Bitch Poetry make you feel? And some of them said that, you know, they felt seen. They felt like, yes, you are talking to me directly, which was one of my goals for whoever this is for it to directly resonate with them. But then another panelist, Taisha, said that, you know, initially she felt like, you know, why the bougie, why the bitch? Because both of those things can have a negative connotation, especially for Black women. But after she read the book, she felt like, yes, I totally understand where this is coming from. And it's kind of like a power play. Like, I'm going to take this back so that it doesn't have the power to hurt me or make me feel bad or make me cower and feel like I should scale back what I want to make other people feel more comfortable.
Well, you know, if we're diving into the book, and I've seen different poetry books and people construct their book different ways. What made you divide your poetry book into sections?
Research. I really looked through a lot of books before I put my book together. And I wanted it to feel like an experience. I didn't want to just lead with Bougie Bitch Poetry and then just kind of drop off. I wanted to explore the spaces where women felt like they have been deemed bougie. Especially because a lot of my work is centric to the Black experience, because I'm a Black woman, to our own individual like culture within the culture. So I felt like, you know, depending on what type of food you order, you can be bougie. So that was in my kitchen. And then depending on how you dress or what brand of things you like, that can be bougie. Where you live can be bougie. The way you react to things in my wrath can be bougie. The way you love, you know, the things that you feel like you're going to require within a relationship can seem bougie. So I divided it into those sections to give the people a real experience, so it felt like you were really coming in close and getting to know you. Like, I wanted people to feel like they were getting to know me, but also getting to know the experience. So I really structured it in a way that it felt like it was conversational, and it felt like I would, if you were my friend, I would welcome you into my home and sit you in my kitchen and cook for you. Or, you know, if you my girl, we in my room and I'm getting changed and I'm, you know, making suggestions on what to wear. So I wanted it to feel like friendship when you opened up the book.
You know, and it's interesting because, you know, I know that your book was designed, you know, to speak to women, you know, and Black women. But I, you know, just seen, I don't know if it was a comment or a post, I think yesterday or the day before, where someone who was not Black said that your book make them want to go talk to their therapist. And, and yeah, like, you know, when you wrote this, because I know that when we have books, I mean, with my book, I had people come up to me and tell me that, you know, this book touched them in a way that when I was writing it, I didn't intend for people to take it that way. You know, so when someone says like, oh, your book had this effect on me, or this book made me want to go do this, how does that make you feel as a new author?
It makes me feel good. A lot of this is Black woman centric because I am a Black woman, so I don't have any other experience other than this. But, you know, the poem says misunderstood and chronically underestimated woman, period. So even though this space is going to have the language and the culture of a Black woman, women will be able to resonate with it because, you know, misunderstood and underestimated is just basically being an underdog. And who can't relate to an underdog story? So when I hear other women say, you know, this makes me want to work on my self-love and talk to my therapist, or, you know, they felt like they really interacted and connected with the stories that are within the book, it feels good. It feels like, yes, I am creating the conversation and the dialogue that I was setting out to do.
Okay. Well, I know with your podcast that you and K Ray have, I remember an episode, and it may have been the Bougie Bitch Poetry episode where you were talking about, you know, your parents and, you know, how, you know, y'all have kind of laid back parents. How'd your parents respond to Bougie Bitch Poetry?
My mom is the person who convinced me that this should be the title of my book. I think we were watching the show called The Gilded Age, which I love, and I was talking about a lot of things that I was going through, and I just thought, you know, I'm so tired of being underestimated, and I'm tired of being misunderstood, and I'm tired of everything being, you know, everything that I like personally being associated as bougie. And I was like, I am a bougie bitch. And I was like, I should call my book Bougie Bitch Poetry. And she was like, maybe you should. And when my mom said, maybe you should, I thought, my mommy is in her 60s. You know what I mean?
And still killing the game.
Yeah, like my mom's in her 60s, and if she likes it, I'm pretty sure this could touch a wide range of people.
Yeah. So
once I had that in mind, then I knew how I wanted to structure the book and how I wanted to present it, and it made it easier to present my work. Because when you've worked for a long time and you have a lot of content and you have things that you want to share, and maybe you feel like you haven't necessarily hit the mark yet, I felt like Bougie Bitch Poetry was going to help me hit the mark. Okay. Because it was the correct way to present the work that I've already done. You know, I don't like to say women's empowerment. I like to say inspiring women, just because sometimes women's empowerment can get a negative connotation around it. So in order to inspire women and in order to touch them and be able to really like talk to them and like break down some of the things and maybe keep one set of girls talking from another set, it was basically hitting the nail on the head. Like, boom, Bougie Bitch Poetry.
Well, and I know I asked you this when we interviewed back in April. But I want to ask you this, especially after the book signing, especially after having men in attendance that, you know, really support you, really rock with you. Can a man get anything out of Bougie Bitch Poetry? Absolutely.
Empathy, understanding, awareness. So I don't, you know, just because something is for specific people doesn't mean that no one else is welcome into the space. It just means that this space was created and designed with them in mind. I said that last time.
You
too.
did.
I did.
That's what I'm laughing.
I said that last time too.
I'm like, let me try to test her and see if she gonna say the same thing.
Still rooting for everybody black.
I love it.
That's the same.
So, okay, the power panel. We didn't get around to a question that I really wanted to ask. So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna put you on the spot. You're gonna answer it.
Okay.
When it comes to relationships, and you know, and I know from listening, from being a dedicated listener to them Wize girls, I know you're single. But in relationships that you've been in, do you feel like, you know, you can be in a satisfying relationship while being your authentic self, or do you feel like you have to relinquish some of your bougie in order for y'all to get along?
Let me have a drink before I answer.
I'll take one too.
Okay, I'm ready now. I think in the past, I have definitely felt the need to relinquish some of the bougie, because it felt like maybe my partner felt like it was intimidating. And I think I learned that anytime that I have to shrink, anytime that I have to be uncomfortable just to exist within a space, then I'm not being genuinely accepted. So I no longer want to be within relationships that require me to do that. Now, I'm not saying that I'm unwilling to compromise or, you know, abide by partnership. That's not it at all. But I feel like somebody who genuinely accepts you isn't going to ask you to reduce what you want and what you bring to the table just to remain within the relationship. Because that's a power dynamic I don't plan on participating in.
I like it. the fact that you have this book in paperback and it's on Kindle, would you ever consider, and I've actually had this question come in from my friend from Memphis that you met at one of the open mics, but she wanted to know, will you ever have like an audiobook or a music project that goes along with the Bougie Bitch Poetry book?
You know, I'm working on a few things, so you never know. You're definitely gonna see some type of audio project. Most likely an audio book. I do want to put out another like poetry project as far as like a spoken word album. So I know that's something I do want to do in the future. But definitely, you can expect to see an audio book in the future.
Well, I would definitely be here for a spoken word album project because, it seemed like it's starting to become, a trend, something that is needed. Like, with seeing Kim Doo-Wop drop her spoken word album along with her triple project last year. Then I do mine. Cincinnati needs more spoken word artists, especially really talented ones, getting their voice out here because, when they're reading a book, yes, they get one voice, but when they're getting your voice on top of that, which your audiobook is going to provide, but also it's just something about having that music aspect there with it that just gives an entirely different experience. I mean, I've done poetry, I've performed poetry off of my album where it's like, okay, yeah, it sounds one way when you're just up there on the mic and you're doing a poem versus when you have the music behind it. Then it's like, ooh, like again, and I really felt that, when I listened to, Doo-Wop do hers, when she performs the light with music versus without it, I get an entirely different experience. So I would love for Bougie Bitch Poetry to, have an album to go along with it. At some point.
I feel like I want to do the audiobook space just because I've been waiting to put out a book for forever. I think I wanted to put out a book before I put out spoken word, like musical projects together.
Right.
And I just want to be in the like book reader space. But that don't mean I won't put a little razzle dazzle on the audiobook.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like, you know what, honestly, the audio projects, it's not a new thing. Like another artist, Romeo D. Natty, who's local, he just put out a post where he showed how he's purchased, art and work of spoken word artists, and there were all these CDs.
Yes.
And even Kim I feel like she also has everybody's CD. Yeah. And I listened to everybody's project, and they're really good. Like there are some that are like really, really good, like well thought out, totally. Just like, I think one of my favorites is like Just Will's poetry. Now that's gangsta.
Yeah.
It's so many good, like super, super good projects. Even when we did the Pimp and Strong project for Indestructible Bloom, I listened back to it and it's good. I listened back to Fan and Flames and it's awesome. So I don't think this is like a new concept. Even the Flow Assist from Flowetry has an album. Yeah. And I feel like even when I listen to like Spotify, if I listen to a spoken word project on there, the music that comes up afterwards is like weird and random.
Yeah.
And I just don't think people know what to do with our art because it's out there.
Yeah.
It exists.
Well, and I know Kim said like with some of the things that you and her were a part of and thing, there's a lot that's not even streaming, that is on CDs and stuff like that. So there may be people like, for me, I haven't, been in the spoken word community that long. Even though I've been writing half of my life, I, kind of came on the scene, around this time last year. And so there's a lot of things that I don't know. And there's not really a particular section to where you can go on, like Apple Music or Spotify or something like that. You could type in rap or R&B and this entire section of stuff, and then it'll play recommended music after you hear that. instead of if you're listening to, you know, one of our projects or something like that, it go, like you said, it goes off into the deep end after that.
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to introduce you to a new artist.
Exactly. And I don't think it's putting in spoken word into like R&B or any genre that it would really incorporate with.
Right.
And I don't know what we can do as artists other than continue to just be in the space, continue to show up, continue to be excellent, and just wait for everybody else to catch up. Because a lot of times people like to, I feel like there are certain connotations that go around poetry and spoken word, and it feels kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to understand it. But then when people come out and they experience the art, they're like, oh my God, this is dope.
Right.
So I feel like all of our projects could also be seen in that same light, where it felt like I wasn't sure, but then when I got there, it was super dope. So it's our job to show up and be available in the spaces. Like, if your work's not streaming, get it streaming. Because I know a lot of these projects was made way before there was awareness of how to get on Spotify or how to get on Pandora. So now that the information is out there, it's our responsibility to level our game up, basically. So it's time for us to level up, but it's also time for the awareness for the art to increase, because there's a lot of dope artists and projects and just so many different things out there that we contribute to the space and to the culture that need to be brought to the forefront.
Absolutely. So I have my version of the book autographed, and you know, I got that off bougiebitchpoetry.com. Why don't you tell the people where else they can get your book?
Well, they can still get it on bougiebitchpoetry.com. They can get it on Amazon, barnesandnoble.com. So it's out there. You can get it if you want it.
Walmart is pretty much everywhere.
It's pretty much where books are sold.
Yes. So you all need to go out here and get this project. Like, get this book. If you've ever heard Laura Wize get on that mic, you'll want this book in your hands. So,
or if you haven't,
yeah, come to an event. I mean, which is, I mean, good segue, because we just had the book signing on the 25th. Where will you be next? Because there are some people, I've run into some people, they don't want to buy the book online. They know that royalties go into it. They want to get it directly from you so that you can get everything. So where will you be next? Are you having any more book signings? Are you going on tour? Where will you be to where people can meet you, see you, get their book signed, or get the book directly from you?
I mean, I'm going to be outside, pretty much. If you see me outside, I might have my book. Most likely. I will be at the book fair. Is it the Black Book Fair?
The Black Book Fair.
Next month. So I'll be there. And then also, I mean, if you feel like you want to get the book directly from me, if you buy it on bougiebitchpoetry.com, you bought it directly from me. I'm packaging that, signing that, shipping that. That's me. So it is not some foreign entity. That is me.
And the packaging is fire. I got that in the mail. I'm looking at my mailbox and it's sticking out, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm like, what the fuck did I order that got, lips and stuff all over? I'm like, what is this? So, and then I forgot, because literally I got the email like the day before that said, hey, Bougie Bitch Poetry is on the way. So I'm thinking, oh, it's probably going to take about 2 or 3 days or something. The next day I get off of work and I'm coming to the door and I'm like, what? Like, what is that? And so I get them, and I'm like, oh, this is Laura Wize's book. So,
I'm big on customer service and customer experience.
Fire. Just the presentation of, the packaging and getting the book and taking it out and all of that good stuff, really dope. I really enjoy what you're doing. I can't wait for more. I think that you deserve a nice rest. You need vacation.
I do.
You've been working forever. You need vacation.
Immediately, yes. Immediately, yes. I hope I can take one soon. I really want to see one of my close friends. I want to go see her soon. I do. I'm ready for all the holiday. I'm ready for every holiday.
Me too.
I'm a holiday real hard after this.
Now, hey, I'm the same way. I'm like, we was just talking. It's like, man, Christmas needs to like hurry up. You know, I need to be around loved ones. I love my poetry community to death. I mean, we're taking a break from Doo-Wop's open mic night at Elements till February.
Last time of the year is coming up in November.
Yes. Cincinnati, Doo-Wop Cincinnati Poetry Slam. You can definitely, they're going to get your book there too.
I don't know. I might not be at the last slam of the year. I got a prior engagement.
Okay. Well,
y'all be at Doo-Wop Cincinnati Poetry Slam.
Yes. Make sure that y'all are there. That's it? That's all?
That's it.
I mean, have we covered everything?
We have covered everything. I really just hope everybody likes the project. You didn't tell me what you thought of the project.
Oh, listen. I mean, I feel like I like to do things by actions and not words. And so I have literally, anytime I see something relating to Bougie Bitch Poetry, I'm trying to share it. I want to be in attendance for everything that's going on. I love the project. I mean, it's like I said, I was just talking to someone the other day and I said, you know, there are some people in my life that like really inspire me, but when it comes to you, I really, and it's crazy to say this, but I really look for your approval on things. So it's like, you know, because you hold things to such a high standard, and rightfully so.
Because I'm bougie.
So it's like when Laura Wize approves, I'm like, okay, yeah, we good to go. And so, but to see the fact of, you know, you being on this cover and then opening up the book and seeing these, you know, these poems, some of them that I've heard before, which I just remembered, you didn't spit a poem.
Oh my goodness.
You didn't spit a poem.
I thought I was going to get out of it.
I just thought about that. It's not that's it, that's all. I think that
this is my fault.
I think that would be a great way to end things because, I mean, you know my personal favorite, but I ain't gonna make you do it. But I want you to do your favorite poem from the book.
My favorite poem?
Your favorite poem.
I was gonna do your favorite poem. Do you want to hear my favorite?
Yeah, I want to hear your favorite. I mean, listen, I get to hear mine soon because I know somebody else was saying that they really wanted that piece, and you know, we get the cookie piece. Which it's not called that, but we'll get that soon.
Black people will rename something, I tell you. They'll be like, it's not that, it's this.
Listen, I heard cookies about 50 times in that poem, so it's the cookie piece.
It's the cookie piece? I love that piece.
I know, I love it. That's one.
I'm going to read that.
That's how I was introduced to Laura Wize. I mean, at the Black Book Fair last year.
That is true. I did.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to read The Real Reason Ain't Nobody Got a Man, because that's what it's called. That's The Real Reason Ain't Nobody Got a Man, a.k.a. the cookie piece.
The cookie piece.
Cookies in abundance. I got 2 for 1. I got 10 for 5. What you looking for? What you want? What you need? I've been cooking in the kitchen. I got that fresh out the oven. Posting pics of my home cooked meal. Cookie. I got that work. I got that all night. Do you right? Soft and chewy, moist on the inside, individually wrapped. I got that free sample. Walk around the store, come back to my kiosk, and I'll give you another cookie. Wishing, hoping, planning, praying, and praying cookie. I got it. That accepting, selfless, unconditional love cookies. Fresh out the oven. I got a whole sheet fresh, waiting on you to just take a bite. I got that all night. Got that let's build a community with all your baby mamas. Give it to you right here in the comments section. Support your small business that ain't really a business. Got that full-time job cookie. Let you follow your dreams cookie. That sit on the couch, play Xbox, eat up all my food cookie. That let you cheat as long as I don't see cookie. That you mean more than me, chocolate dip, honey dip, butterscotch, even though he be gone, he can still come back home cookie. That I'll make tacos, Jody. That butter pecan, let you keep that side dip cookie. I just can't see you without me cookie. I can't breathe cookie. I can't sleep cookie. I can't eat cookie without you in my life cookie. I've been waiting all this time. I can't even focus on any other aspect of life Cookie. I ain't got no stamps in my passport, no sense of self, can't find the root of the problem. It's me. Cookie. That he ain't brought my car back, late to pick me up in my own shit, Cookie. I can't figure out why no one will pay retail for this Cookie, even though I've been giving it away for free, Cookie. Got that? Forget all these other chicks. They ain't on my level. You should eat my Cookie. I'll hold you down. Ride or die, Cookie. Self-righteous, saving it for Jesus, giving it away in the dark for potential marriage proposals. Cookie. Surplus, Cookie. Cookies in abundance. The market value of cookies is low. The stock has plummeted. We're all out here in a single file line waiting to give our submission to the next man passing by because it beats being alone. Cookie. Who stole the last cookie from the cookie jar? Cookie.
Hey, every time I hear it, I mean, that's just one of those timeless pieces to where, you know, and you know all too well, you know, those timeless pieces, you never get tired of them, no matter how often you hear them. You know, depending on what your mood is that day, you may spit it a little different, you know.
True.
So, you know, I love it. And I'm just thankful that throughout this entire year, because the first conversation I had with you was at Wing Chant, at Doo-Wop's open mic night.
I feel like I kept seeing you out. And
you
I
did,
felt like
but we didn't talk.
We didn't talk. Oh my goodness.
Because Kim didn't even introduce me to you on her birthday. She introduced me to everybody else. Carlos, brother Carlos, Righteous One, everybody.
I got there late though. I got there late.
But yeah, we were in the same room, you know, a number of times. And like I said, that was how I got introduced to you last September at the Black Book Fair, was hearing that piece. But we didn't really talk. Our first conversation was through Messenger when I messaged you and asked you to be on the mic drop.
It was.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then I met you at Wing Champ. And so, you know, it's just been a pleasure to get a chance to, you know, take this journey with you, listen to your poetry, you know, listen to your experiences, you know, both through your poetry and through your podcast. You know, it's just been a blessing. But since you are a wise one, I'm gonna ask you, because last time I asked you a couple of miscellaneous questions. So this time I'm gonna ask you, what type of wisdom would you give to me?
To you. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Because I think as artists we kind of like talk ourselves out of things a lot. And we feel like, nah, ain't nobody gonna like that. Nobody's gonna dig that. But you really felt that from a need. But after you trust yourself, be open to repackaging. Because as artists, we get real left field. So just remember that when you want to get left of field, we still need to speak the language of the people. We got to say it so they understand it. And that way we can have like this blending of artistry and then also support of our community. So trust yourself, but be open to reshaping it so that we're speaking the language of the people.
I love it. Now, that really is, that's it, that's all.
That is it.
Well, y'all make sure that y'all tap in with Laura Wize, please. You know, grab this book, you know, grab this masterpiece of poetry. And, you know, we'll be back next time. The next time you will see this, Kimberly Doo-Wop Bowden will be special guest hosting, and we will be talking about a Kingpin Collection Volume 1. Here's my 2 cents.
Stream that now.
Stream it now. The shit is fire. You will enjoy it. This has been the Mic Drop with B. Anderson, and we are out.